Welcome back to my talk. Let's get started quickly before the gong goes off on me. So, a little introduction about me for those of you who don't know. So I've been in the testing world for 12 years. I fell into it by mistake, studied computer science, had no clue what software testing was about. Since then, I've come a long way. I've been blogging for quite a bit. I'm an international speaker. I've done a keynote, and I've hosted events, as well as I work for EasyJet as a quality engineering manager. So any of you who actually took EasyJet to come to Budapest? Just one hand? Really? Oh, two hands? Okay. Something, which is good. Perfect. So why this topic then? So it's important to think, of course, outside of your working remit. Every day we've got a 9-to-5 job and we're thinking about the same things, trying to deliver every day. But do we really think about outside of the box? How can we make things better? We always talk about strategic conversations and how to make delivery better, but maybe do any of you have time to think about thought leadership, or have ever had someone tell you something different than what you know? Most of the times I hear the answer as no. So it's not just about me being a thought leader, it should also come from your suppliers that you work with, and I assume majority of you work with lots of suppliers onshore, nearshore, and offshore. And it's really interesting when people come from outside of your company and give you opportunities that you might not have thought about, whether that's tweaking some processes, whether that's thinking differently as well. So it's quite interesting, and that's what changed my mind as well. So an example stuck by me when one of my suppliers came up to me and said to me, have you thought about trying this sort of automation suite slightly differently? Or have you thought about maybe we should not have non-traditional KPIs and we should focus on something that is different, like a DORA metrics and a mix of traditional? So I started thinking, this is really interesting, because this time I don't have to think about what I want to change in the team or how I want to sort of lead the deliveries for this. They are coming to me with ideas which really changed my way of thinking, and I really, really appreciated it. So that's why I thought this is an important topic for today. And as a leader, you go on turbo mode then, because you've got your ideas, your suppliers are coming with their ideas, we've joined them together, and it's just a really, really good match to have. So that's why thought leadership is quite important. So, of course, we bring in a lot of innovative ways of working that is appreciated as well. I heard from some of our managers and higher stakeholders that the small changes that you've made are actually helping us understand better how you are delivering as quality engineers. So something did work, and we continue to make these small positive changes as thought leaders. So, have you ever thought beyond your current day-to-day tasks? Have any of you just sat one day and thought something different, but not your 9-to-5? Any one of you, hands up? Okay, some of you, okay. If you work with suppliers, how many of those think outside of the box? So have you ever heard any supplier come up to you and be like, right, have you thought about changing this or think differently how you deliver? Anyone? Okay, just a few hands. Perfect. And have you ever heard conversations that are different to the constant delivery talks? We need to deliver, this is our deadline, da, da, da. Have you heard anything other than that? Okay, so some hands there. Okay, so it's really important to sort of answer these questions and come up with ideas that are slightly different to what you do day to day, basically. So let's have a quick look at the meaning of thought leadership. So thanks to AI, this is what I get. So the practice of individual or organization providing a unique, valuable insight and expertise in a specific field to influence, inspire, and lead others in the industry or community. So this is what thought leadership is about. Now, you've got the typical thought leaders in the world. You've got Bill Gates, Tim Ferriss, and Elon Musk, for those of you who follow Elon Musk. But it's really important to see that how things are done differently, right? You don't have to follow exactly the famous people. You can have your own style here. That's the importance around thought leadership and the beauty around thought leadership. And of course, another example here says a thought leader is a business person who knows what they're doing, is respected for their expertise and offers thoughtful and valuable advice. I would say a thought leader is an SME who knows about what they're doing. So especially in our testing world, if you understand every single bit, end-to-end, functional, non-functional, that is an SME. So a thought leader who will think on improving how to go ahead with that. So, oops. Let's go back. Okay. So think about original ideas that have not been spoken before, or you had an idea but you left it for later on. Bring them up because you don't know what change you're going to bring when you talk about these. Have a clear voice, articulate what you want. I know that I've faced a couple of difficult stakeholders who I've gone to in a style of communication that probably wasn't right. And then someone told me, go to a stakeholder with an opportunity. That's what we need to think about. Change your ways of communicating. Offer, this is an opportunity for you. Have you thought about this? Maybe this might bring something positive than what you already have. And that then changed the whole sort of stage. And they were like, yeah, this is interesting. So let's start thinking about this and put it as part of our strategy. So it's just about articulating things right. Otherwise, I got asked once, what is your role? Why are you coming to my team all the time for? So we don't want to face these kind of answers. We want to face more of the, this seems interesting, let's try and see what change it can bring and what positive sort of feedback we get post that. So that's when you articulate a bit better. And then the third one is a community impact. So I'm sure majority of you have some sort of testing community within your company and stuff, and you share ideas. So that's the place where you can also sort of share your thought leadership. Like maybe a supplier came up with an idea, you can share it with your team members and ask them to maybe look into something similar, and maybe they might surprise you that they already have it or they have something better than that. So always share as you go along. This also avoids silos as well in these kind of positive processes. So because I like a bit of statistics, this is some sort of leadership marketing data. So you can see that 50% of people in the C-suite world say that high-quality thought leadership has more impact on their purchase decision-making during economic downturns than when times are good. You also have the value side of things. So 61% of decision makers say that an organization's thought leadership can be moderately or a lot more effective at demonstrating the potential value of its products and services. So it's quite a big percent. So are we really doing it is the question now. Then 40% say that it's an opportunity. So only 4 in 10 decision makers say that there is more thought leadership content than they can imagine, or that the market is oversaturated with thought leadership content. And finally, 48% feel that it's challenging. So 48% of the decision makers want to see thought leadership include provocative ideas that challenge people's assumptions. So this is what we should be telling our suppliers as well when we sign their contracts, when they come on board into the company. Could you bring more than just your expertise? Could you come and give us a challenge and help us overcome this? Because what I see, and I've been seeing for many years, is when suppliers join our teams, they just crack on with their job, and only maybe out of 100, maybe 1 or 2 are the ones who actually have a voice, and they voice their thoughts and how they want to do things differently, which is really beautiful to see. But how can we increase that as well? Okay, so the evolution of engineering then. So yesterday, of course, write brilliant code, ship features faster, keep systems running and whatnot. But today, we are looking at technical excellence. We are looking at cultural influence. We are looking at industry leadership. I feel like when we think about having roles as test leads, test managers, heads off, it's not about being that person on the top, it's about working alongside your team. That's what helps thought leadership as well. And I've noticed that when there are times where I had to go and test, which really happened recently, I had to literally go into a project and do the testing myself. it felt really good because that is also a type of thought leader because you're working with the teams who actually do all the sort of testing every single day. So it just changes people's mindsets that Laveena is not my manager, she is also working with us and she brings newer ideas when she's testing as she goes. So it was really, really positive. So why engineers make natural thought leaders? I'm not sure if you've ever thought about this, but yeah, we have deep technical expertise, which is always good to know. As I said, we are SMEs in specific types of testing or just generically for all non-functional and functional testing. We have a problem-solving mindset, so we do like to crash things, we like to break things and then find our ways out, and that's why we do a lot of exploratory testing. But we give our reasoning behind that as well. We're not just trying to break relationship with developers, we are trying to actually showcase to the whole team why quality engineering matters and why should we think outside of the box. We also have the real world experiences and all the challenges we've seen. We've gone live, then there's a production issue. We've been blamed many times that, oh, the QA didn't test this, or when was this tested? Where is the proof for this? So it shouldn't be like that. It should be more about we all are in this together. And that's when you can actually make a bigger impact. So the ripple effect of engineering throughout leadership. So you can see that you have your personal growth, obviously. You can coach your team, you can mentor your team, but come up with better ideas of how we can do things differently. It may seem a bit of a chore at the start that, oh, I have to think outside of the box now, make some strategic changes, make some team changes, but in the long run, that is what the challenge will give you, the personal growth. You will then obviously improve practices by being the team influence, and alongside you, all of the members are with you influencing this as well. So bear that in mind. It's not just you driving this, it's all of your team driving this with you. And then you have your industry impact as well, because you're trying to shape things and you're trying to share the knowledge. So think from that perspective as well. So here's a little example as well of thought leadership in action. So I advocate a lot around accessibility. Maybe some of you have seen my talks on accessibility as well, but that is a type of a thought leader, because when you don't see a lot of people talking about accessibility in your team or the company, that's when you open up, you voice your thoughts, and I did that. I did that a lot in the digital space. I did that a lot in the non-digital space, because accessibility is not a B2C job, it's a B2B as well, because I wear glasses, I'm wearing contact lenses. Those are my enablers right now. But if I don't wear them, I see all of you really blurry. And if I'm using a product that's built in-house and I can't see it, just because one day I can't be bothered to wear contact lenses or I've broken my glasses, how do I do my job? So we have to think from all sort of perspectives. And same things with architectural innovations. Like if there are any new patterns, if you are maybe attending a conference and you found that there's a good way of doing architecture within the team or the company, just talk to the right people and showcase to them that how this would give us more benefit in the future. So that's the kind of ideas that you can come up with. So learning from failure, obviously. So the most powerful thought leadership often comes from honest reflection on what didn't work. So if you do fail, you will find a solution to it. So that's where thought leadership comes from. And I personally feel like just being a test lead or a test manager, sometimes I just get on with work 9 to 5. It's not about thinking about different things or exploring new ideas. And sometimes when I speak to other testers in the community, they're doing things differently, and I think, could I bring this into my workplace? Could I bring this into my team or not? And how would this look like? So that's a very rare, that's like one day when I'm going on a walk and I'm thinking about it. But that's what we need to bring more of these thoughts in and try and make a change. So building your voice. So how do we do this? What could good look like as well? So start very small. You might have some internal pages in your company. You can write some blogs. You can share some good things that your team has done. Showcase what you do. Make noise. Then share consistently. Try and see if you can be part of an all hands. Try and see if you can present something to some C-suite stakeholders. Find your niche. So if you are thinking around security testing, performance testing, anything that has changed because of what you sort of introduced. Showcase it, because those things matter. And engage authentically. So join any conversations, add feedback, build relationships. It's just part of networking and showcasing people that testing can also think outside of the box and can bring changes. It's not just about, just maybe developers thinking differently and testers differently and the whole set thinking differently. It's about all of us being engineers at the end of the day. So you can also start with other things as technical writing. Just like I said, you can write internally, you can write externally. You've got massive platforms like LinkedIn. Your colleagues are there connected with you as well if you like to do that. Start speaking. Maybe a conference presentation or a roundtable at a conference could help you think differently. Listen to podcasts. They also help you sort of be creative with what you could change in your team and come up with better results. And then, of course, you've got your open source tools and contributions through GitHub, documentation, community leadership that could change. I normally like to see a lot of posts on LinkedIn of what teams have done and how they've seen benefits from it. So I would definitely invite you to sort of spend more time looking into this whenever possible. And as I said, what could good look like? So focus on an area of expertise. As I said, if you're good at performance testing or security, focus on that and see how can we make it even better. And then answer the unanswered questions. So do some research within your team and feel like, do you think we are good right now with the level of performance testing we're doing? Do you think we need some more suppliers, or what can we do? And then appear on the right channels. So ask the right questions. Be ready to get an answer of no, we are not interested, doors are shut, but keep trying, don't give up. Provide depth of ideas and continue to listen and learn. So listen to others. That's the most important thing that I've heard so many times. It just helps because you don't know what people are sort of sharing and how that could help all of you. So most people do not listen with the intent to understand, they listen with the intent to reply, which happens with me a lot. So I would say listen as much as possible, because that's where you really learn. You learn small nuggets of information that could be like the Big Bang for you one day. And be a good listener is absolutely critical to being a good leader. It's critical to being a good leader. You have to listen to the people who are on the front line. And majority of the times, we are on the front line when a release is going live and whatnot. They're like, have you got the right testers? Who's going to support this? So try and be a good listener at that point and see what could actually go wrong and anticipate. Do a risk register ahead of time. People are really surprised when you actually have a risk register done months ahead before we even go live. I had a session the other day with one of the head of data, and he was surprised, and he's like, we've captured everything. But when I went in and I did a Miro board session with him, he was really surprised that I'm really happy that you're doing this now and not closer to the time. Because closer to the time, all of us are nervous trying to ship it off, and we get other chaos that we didn't anticipate. So let's try and do things earlier. Introvert and extrovert, it does not matter. It does not matter whether you do not speak a lot or do not share much ideas, or you talk too much and share too much ideas. It's about having the right kind of mindset here. It's about being the engineer who can bring some change to the team. It does not have to be a big change, as I said. It can be something small and easy, but think and share with your team. I've worked with both introvert and extrovert colleagues, and I see the beauty in both of them. So I try and talk to them and use their ideas as well to come throughout the team and tell them that good on you, you said this, look what's happened now. So I share their names, and it's really good this way. So permanent employee or supplier, try to have this. Try and tell your suppliers to please not just do their jobs. Try and be thought leaders. Try and think outside of the box. If we are going to get suppliers to just sit down on their desks and do their jobs, we're not really getting everything that we asked for. So change your contracts and what's written on the contracts. Make it more of a yes, deliver your job, but give us something as well. Don't keep it in silos, because if someone, for instance, if they go on a holiday or on a maternity leave or they get exchanged by another colleague, the information should stay and it should spread to all of us. So that's also being thought leaders. So your journey, your leadership journey starts now. So identify your passion, what area you really like, whether that's leadership, whether that's a specific type of testing, and focus on how we could think differently. Start contributing, start talking about it, start talking to your peers, share it. It doesn't have to be only like testing, it can be a BA, it can be a technical product owner, it can be architects. Include people, talk and share your ideas and build a community, because then you will realize if you're on the right track and they feel like your ideas are really going to work with legacy systems or SaaS products or anything or not, and they'll be honest with you because you've built that community and you've shared your interests. So that was all. Thank you very much. I hope this was useful to all of you. I know it's very difficult to sometimes have 4 or 5 projects running alongside, teams to manage, line manage and whatnot, and then think outside of the box as well. But if you do have some time, give it a thought, because that's really going to make positive changes, not just for your team, but how you feel being part of the team. You'll enjoy being part of projects and whatnot, because your thoughts are helping how we're delivering. So I hope you enjoyed the talk. Thank you very much.
Okay, I'm so sorry, but that was really not enough. I mean, the struggle she had at the beginning. Huge applause to her, thank you. It's rare that people can actually come back from that, and I'm sorry. And thank you so much for being so, excellent. First question, how thought leadership does not lead to be a one-person army and burn out super fast?
Okay, I started like that, and you do feel burnout very quickly, but I started talking to my team members. I started saying that I'm thinking of this. What are your thoughts? Do you think this is something useful or not? Would you join with me, and can we maybe attend a meeting with a specific stakeholder and we can share our ideas, because you have done this. We just want to broaden it out to other team members and see how they feel. And actually I went into a meeting with a couple of people, and it was really, really nice, because it didn't feel like I'm leading this. It's my team leading it with me. And I didn't feel like a manager, a test lead. It was just like all of us, one set of engineers trying to make a change. So I would say, don't do it all by yourself. Talk about it, share your thoughts, and take your team members with you to the meetings. That's the best thing you can do, because they get the exposure of what the meetings could look like as well. So that's what I'd answer for that.
Okay, excellent, thank you. How should we introduce new ideas in a rigid structure or company structure?
Yeah. That always happens. I've got teams where the door got shut to me, literally. And this was talking around how could we be better at accessibility, or how could we share the auditing reports with everyone so that we could think earlier and not later when it's closer to another audit. Doors got totally shut on me, and I felt really, really bad. But I spoke to one of the test managers back then, and they said to me, change your communication method. Be a person who's taking an opportunity on the plate, not you've got this wrong, you've got that wrong. Think of opportunity. So I think focus on your communication skills, I would say, because that's what changes things. So when I went to the person next time, the scenario was totally different. I'm not sure if the person was in a better mood this time or not, but it was just like flowing so nicely to the point that they said, go and contact this person. They are the right people. They are the SMEs for this area, and try and give them your ideas and let's work together. And then I started working with the UX designer for that. So it was really good, and I added my team members as well. I said, I'm doing this bit here, but I'd like your support so that we can showcase it that we've done it positively. So don't forget your team, please, when doing all this.
Do you see a chance of answering this really quick? Do you think it's possible to a manager and an employee at the same time on a project?
Yeah, I did it. I'm not asking you should do it, but it was a bit stressful. It was very recent, literally 2 months ago, when a supplier decided to say no to testing that, and I had to go in. So being a tester and a manager was possible because I had the ambition. I was like, I want to go back 12 years ago, what I used to do, and experience that was managed. But it is very difficult. I'm not gonna say it's not difficult. I was working late hours, but it was fun experience for me. I took it as a nice sort of challenge and something different to my usual day-to-day. So I would, if you do get the chance, do it, but I will say it's quite stressful. And if you are trying to bring changes and be thought leader, then I'd say manage your time well, or manage your suppliers well, because they can't say yes to you first and then no when it comes to testing it. So that's what I would suggest. But it is possible if you have the bandwidth.
Ladies and gentlemen, Laveena, Ramchandani, it's amazing.
Thank you.
Presentation. Thank you for the questions and answers as well. And enjoy. Now you're free.